Hi and welcome to today's video where I have my beauty hauls or purchases for the last couple of months. Now I don't do them every month, it just depends when I've either got a box or a bag big enough towards the end of a given month, and then I will share them and then I'll start fresh for the next month, if you know what I mean. So I've filled this bag up with items that I've purchased in June and July, so I've got them out in front of me. So I'll try and do them in some sort of order, but we'll see how it goes. So the first item, or one of the first items that I picked up, in fact, and it was the first, was from Boop Beauty, which I have talked about before. I have done videos on the items that I've purchased. So basically, that is an online-only discount store that is run by the Hut Group, who own Cult Beauty and Look Fantastic, amongst other brands. So they sell items on there that are not generally sold on their other brands' websites, but they do sell a lot of overstock or end of line, mainly end of line and discontinued items or brands that are going under. So anyway, I was looking for a replacement because in due course my Benefit Rocketeur, which is in my main project pan, is going to run out. I've got it on my cheeks today. So I didn't realise when I started it towards the end of last year that I was going to love it as much as I do. But I have tried and taken it out, into Manchester City, to try and find something similar. I've not been successful, but I did see on Boot they just started stocking this item. Just got it in, and it's by Urban Decay, and it is one of their saucily titled Stay Naked Threesome. So this was an item, a face palette, and I didn't realise that this had been launched, but I think it's been discontinued a while. And this is in the shade Fly. I was able to find two shades. This was the fairer of the two. I'd say it was medium, and I think the next one, which I can't remember the name, was dark. But this was $14.99, but it did go down to $9.99, and it may still be on Boop's website, but it was originally £34. So this is the item. It's got quite a reflective surface. It's heavy acrylic. So acrylic is much stronger than standard plastic, which tends to be quite flexible. So it has general strength in terms of the moving components, but where a weakness with acrylic is it can be damaged if knocked very violently or dropped onto a heavy surface from a great height. Yes, it can shatter, but otherwise it is a more expensive component than standard plastic, but it is obviously a plastic polymer. So this is a face palette, and it's generally matte-ish. There is a bit more glimmer in the highlighter, but there's a bronzer, a matte neutral blonde bronzer, a highlighter, and a blush, which is a peachy sort of pink, I would say. So I thought that would be nearer to Rocketeur. It isn't, but when those two are mixed together, you get some approximation of Rocketeur. But I'm pleased to have that, and I'm not going to start using this until I've finished up Rocketeur, I don't think, but it's something to look forward to, and I'll certainly be giving it a try. But I bought it more for the blush element than anything else. I also got at that time a powder brush by Dr. Botanicals, and it's got PO, a bit like a chemical symbol is what you would say. So this is a big fluffy brush. It's not tightly packed, the bristles, so it would give a diffuse look for either finishing powders, or you could use them for bronzer if you want a diffuse look. It's supposed to be retail value of £40, but I got this free as a gift with purchase. So yeah, that's always great to have a free gift. I also randomly picked up a Sally Hansen top coat. I think I bought that online with some other items. Possibly these here, I think, and I can't remember if they were All Beauty or Notino. Both do discount items, off an end of line. So I wanted, initially I wanted a replacement lipstick for an Essence product that I knew I was going to run out of, and I had been looking online, but then in the last month I actually had it, and it just melted, and it was in a Chanel lipstick bullet case, and so I threw the case and it away. And then when I looked online, it was available a couple of months ago, and then when I looked to buy it, it had sold out. So this is basically the nude, that it's called the Hydrating Nude range. So there was always 3 colours in the range. The beige one has gone. This is the pink, and then there was a peachy one in the middle, I think. Not quite peach, more of an orangey peach sort of thing, but more rust colour, I would say. So this is the pink. So I've got the pink that I've had a couple of years now in this Charlotte Tilbury. So this is called Nude Romance 302. I have thrown away the container, but there it is. So I thought, it's lovely, I'll get another. So I picked up 2 actually, and I thought that's great. And it is the shade, definitely same shade, because I do have the sticker somewhere with the shade and the number. So when I picked this up, although it is supposed to be the same shade, it isn't, because it's not as shiny and the colour isn't identical. Can you see that's a bit more cooler toned and matter, but it isn't matte, it's just more satin than glossy, and this one here is more glossy, but it's still close enough to say that I'm sure I will enjoy using it once I have finished this one. I mean, I've used quite a bit of it, and I've had it about 18 months, as I would suppose, and so now I've got a couple of backups. I also picked up, whilst I was there, a Fame perfume from Rabanne. Now, this was in, I think it must have been a clearance item, because I think where it says Paco Rabanne, the company in the last year have called themselves Rabanne since the death of Paco Rabanne. He was very, very elderly, from the 1960s when he was first started in design. So this is the original Fame, which came out a few years ago, and this is a warm white floral with an incense, like a frankincense base. But it's very light, it's very airy. It doesn't have a lot of staying power, I will say. But I do have a miniature. It's a very little robot there. I think it's 4 or 5 mil. But I've got it in a display cabinet, and I didn't want to use the juice in it, so I've got this, and this was in the sale, so it was about £14. That was fine for me, because I didn't think this was worthy of a full bottle, and I don't particularly like the robot design, but I was pleased to have that. And I also picked up a Max Factor False Lash Effect Primer. Now, I did have another primer, which I used towards the end of last year and early this year, and it only lasted a couple of weeks. It was a discontinued one. It performed well but dried out, and I couldn't revive it. So I thought I'd try this one. It's in blue, so it actually coats the lashes blue, which is good, because you know, like the white, it gives you something so you can tell if you've coated it with the top coat. So I don't know if this is going to be any good. I am liking the Lash Paradise by L'Oreal, which I'm using as a base at the moment, but I wanted to give that a try as well. If it doesn't work out, I'll go back to the Lash Paradise, but this one is available. There aren't many retailers selling Max Factor, but it is possible to pick this up in the UK. So I've also picked, which one is it? I did a couple of purchases at Boots. The first one was where you got this item free. Now, they often do pouches and they rotate what's in. They put a different sleeve on and rotate the items that are in. And I actually went to one Boots that had 4 different versions. And they don't release 4 at once, but it's what they have accumulated over time, and you can make your selection. So I got this one. And I'll tell you what I purchased to get this, because you need to spend £20, and then this gift is worth supposedly £30. I picked up the Morphe Jumbo Continuous Setting Mist, which I really do enjoy. I have the standard size, and it is a lovely continuing setting mist, and it does, for me, lengthen the duration of makeup on my face. Not that I have a major problem with it disappearing to a great degree, but what I find is it does seal in your makeup, but it leaves it in the condition it was. So if it's very dry, it will leave it fairly mattish, maybe slightly dewy, and if it's very dewy, that's the finish that'll be left. But I would say it certainly wouldn't dry the skin out. It does have some sort of solvents, I would say, because it's in an aerosol. So obviously you can feel it on the face to some degree, but it's not as tight and drying as some setting sprays that I've used. But it is supposed to be quite a long lasting spray. So I got that. That was around £22 at Boots. It wasn't reduced. Now Boots have fairly recently started doing Morphe, but only a few lines. So at the time I bought that, and I thought I'll get this little thing, was online. There was another item that I really wanted. Let me just see which one it was. I can't seem to find it. I think I've got them all a bit mixed up here. I know I have. Never mind. I wanted this item, which is the Morphe Cheek Thrills. Now this came to the UK later than the release in the US of A, and it was first of all released in Selfridges online, because I went to the store to try and have a look at it, and it was just online. So and also this colour tended to be out of stock both abroad and here. It was the most popular colour, which is After Party. They have quite a few different palettes. They're all blushes. One runs a bit bronzy, but the rest are definite blushes. And I thought After Party, it was the most appealing to me, and I realise now why. Because after I tried the Urban Decay, this is closer in a shade match to Rocketeur by Benefit, which is a happy happenstance. So I've not been one that's bought from Morphe until very recently, since they changed hands and they've got a completely new owners. I just didn't like the manufacturing that was employed by Morphe, and also the sales techniques and the quality of the goods. So as it's been taken over, and I've been so impressed with the setting spray, I thought I'd give this a try, because ordinary people rather than big influencers have indicated that they enjoy this. And to be honest, I think the quality seems to have improved. Now, certainly if you look at the packaging, it's not the lightest, it's not the heaviest, but I do like the packaging. I do like the look. It's got quite a modern feel to it. It's colour toned, so you know what shade trio you've got. And what you end up with is a cover on the two creams, and then you've got a powder. So there is a standard cream, no glitter in. Then there is a glittery topper or highlighter. I call it more of a topper for fair skin. And then there is, I wouldn't say it's completely matte, a satin type of powder blusher. So in combination, these do look like Rocketeur, which is great. Now I picked this up at Boots, and there was 20% off this item and a few other items, and so I got it for around £14 instead of the usual £19, so it was a bit of a bargain. So I shall be giving that a try again in due course. I want to finish off the Rocketeur, but I have sampled them side by side and been very, very impressed. So what did I get for that? Now I ended up with these three items. It was, so you get a little makeup bag and then 3 items inside. So I'll drag them out for you. The first one I'm going to pass on. It's a very dark e.l.f. eyebrow pencil. So I'm going to pass that on to a friend. I've got, and I was interested in trying this, Sculpted by Amy Mini Beauty Base. So this is an Irish company that manufacture in Ireland and in Korea. I think this is a Korean one, and in Italy, I think. And this is one that is a primer that has an SPF and it moisturises. So I wanted to give that a try. These are all classed as full size, but and it's got a sanitary seal. However, on her website, I'm not sure if this is so, but certainly this isn't the full size at 30ml. But 30ml is a lot. For a lot of companies it would be. So I'm pleased to try that, because that was on my radar. And then the third item is Firework Lash Sensational by Maybelline. So that is a mascara, and I will gladly use those items. Now, quite a bit later on, that was early in June, in July, I then picked up some more items from Boots. And this again is the Beauty Heroes, and which is the sleeve. This is the sleeve for it, and you get 4 items in the bag. So I will show you what the gift was. There was an e.l.f. sponge that looks like a beauty sponge, like the beauty blender. There was a Rimmel mascara that is a Wonder Bond Bonding Serum Mascara. That sounds interesting. And then there was a L'Oreal Prime Lab 24-hour Pore Minimizer. Now I may give that a try by squeezing a bit on a palette at some point. And then if it's not for me, I can pass it on. And then the final item is another one to be passed. What I will be passing on is the Mega by Wet n Wild. So it is a mascara for lashes and brows. I think it's more of a brow gel type. So what did I purchase for this? Now this has been in the last couple of weeks, and I picked up because quite a number of YouTubers were speaking. It held these in quite high regard, particularly Nikki LaRose, who I really do enjoy watching. And these are the Lifter range, the Lifter liners by Maybelline. And what I've been commented on was one, the creamy, and two, the long lasting. So I picked them, but they're very popular. So there was one shade I wanted in a mauvey tone, and that was out of stock constantly wherever I went. But I picked up, I think it's 7 and 5 that I got. So one is a beige liner and one is a neutral to warm tone pink. When I got it home, I realised I had another Maybelline one in the twist up, to the 24-hour one that's in a twist up pen. And that is also being sold side by side because the Maybelline have two different lip liner ranges, but they perform very similarly. Once they dry down, they dry down. So I'm not sure why they've done that with two lines. Maybe they're going to phase one out, but yeah, I'm glad to have those two. And I also picked up a liner glaze, and that's because Amanda Z, who I follow, a beauty YouTuber, she was positively comparing these to, I think it's the YSL and Dior lip glosses, which are a balm lipstick, and she said she preferred this formula. So this is in the shade, like I say, 005 Peach Quench. So this is a slightly glossy formula that can be very sheer, and then it can be built up very strongly on the lips. It has a sweet cotton candy sort of scent. And I thought, well, if she's positively comparing it to high mark glossy lipsticks, then it's worth trying, because I do, trust her opinion, and many of the things she likes, I like. So I thought I'd pick it up. Apparently it smells like, I think it's YSL Audio, one of them has a menthol, as a minty, a sweet mint, and that's what it does, and a bit like a candy scent. So yeah, that's what I picked up. And so they were all from Boots. The next items I picked up were, let me just see. I said I picked up an Insta Dry. I think I got that whilst I was buying these ones. And I've got that open because I've got it in use at the moment. And then, let me just go, I went on, I think it was iHerb, which is an American website that sells a lot of things like Holland & Barrett, health-related things, beauty, alternative therapy sort of things. So I picked up by Enough, which is a brand based in Korea, Rich Gold Double Wear Radiance Foundation. So this is, I suppose they've got the double wear, I suppose that Estee Lauder, and then you've got the notion that it's like the CC creams, it's SPF 50. I thought I'd give it a try. It's in shade 21. Now generally in the Korean companies tend to have a standardised shades, or they're very similar, and 21 in Misha works well for me. This is darker. The 13, which is a very, very pale one, seems to be discontinued or not available in the UK or through iHerb. So I picked that up. It's got about 100 grams, about 100 ml. It's massive. So here it is, and it was only £7. So I picked it up whilst I was getting some other items, and I'm pleased to have that. I'll give that a try at some point, because I do love Korean skincare and Korean foundations and CC creams. So I'm going to go into my bag. So I've still got more stuff in here, believe it or not. So one of the first items, in fact it was the first item that I picked up in the beginning of June. I bought several as backup of the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow. So this is only available via Amazon in the UK, and I've been monitoring Amazon, and the prices have been getting quite expensive. there's only four, I think there's 4 colours, 4 shades, and 3 of the 4 shades are hitting near £20 a tube, which isn't a lot, but they were around 7 or 8. So I picked this for around £6. So I don't know if the lines are being discontinued. I was a bit concerned, so I bought quite a number. But yeah, I'm hoping they're not discontinuing this range because I love it. And quite a number of YouTubers, in fact, like Nikki Rose recently said she enjoyed it. And she hadn't bothered trying it, although it isn't really for her skin type, as she said she's oily and she prefers a standard infallible, but the Pro Grow is very lovely for dry or mature skin. So, and it's a very thin formula, but it does have some alcohol to allow it to evaporate off the surface, so that it goes to like a satiny finish. It's quite glowy for me, but I do love this. So I've got several of those. I wanted to share that. I've got one that I've open at the moment that's in Project Pan that I've had since last year. I've also got, I picked this up, and I don't know if it was from Look Fantastic, but someone had said in a comment whether I tried pie, and I have tried pie a long time ago, but I saw this, it was in a sale, a site-wise sale, so I thought I'd get this. I paid about £14, and it's Glow Drops. Now they do them in a very yellow, metallic yellow colour, like yellow gold, and a bronze. So I thought I'd pick the bronze up. This can be mixed with skincare, with foundations, any face base, or with body care. So I thought that sounds interesting. So I've not tried it. It comes with a pipette. It has a bit of a paint type smell, not too unpleasant, but I thought I'd give that one a try. But I'm not sure I'll use it this year because I might do, but if I do, I will put it onto a mixing tray so that I don't contaminate it by putting directly the drop it on onto my skin or anything like that. So that's interesting. I've also picked up from and again, it could have been Look Fantastic or Cult Beauty, Anastasia Beverly Hills, a satin lipstick. This was only £13, and it's in the shade Haze. So it's a very pale, buff, beigey sort of shade. I don't like them when they run to peach, but there it is. So although it looks matte, it isn't. It's a satin, but I really dislike ABH's matte formulas. I cannot get on with them. For a long time, that's all they did, were liquid matte and bullet matte, but this is a satin. Now what I will say, this is very reminiscent of the Gucci packaging, and it's very heavy, so it is lovely and weighty. So yeah, that gives it a premium luxe feel. And yeah, glad to give that one a try. I've tried it on the back of my hand and it seems really nice, and I do like the shade, a bit like KKW from Charlotte Tilbury, except KKW I think might be matte, and I don't like matte lipsticks. And then I think I've only got 2 more. Let me just see. Yeah, I've got 2 more items, and then that is it. No, I've got 3. I'm lying to you, I've got 3. So 3 or 4. Let me just get them all out here. These are the last ones. So throughout, if you've seen me empty, you'd have seen quite a number of green eyeshadows because they were so old. And I picked up this as a replacement. I think it might have been, I think it was on Amazon, but it's Max Factor. And it is a sparkly green. It's going to show a bit apple green, but it's actually more of a lime green. And I do love that shade. So I do love those colours and I do use them, but never enough to finish them all off. So I've got this purely as a replacement because the others, although they hadn't gone off and hadn't caused me eye infections, I was a bit concerned they were that old. So I've got a replacement there. I then picked up another of the liners from Maybelline, and it was the one I couldn't get, which was 08. Which is a slightly mauve toned one. I was able to pick that up there, and the lifter liner. And I also picked up from Revolution Beauty a lipstick, which is, I think it's gloss stick. It seems to be a dupe of, or very similar to, I'm not going to say it's identical to, the Fenty Gloss Bumps. Now what I do like about that, it is acrylic, so it's a more expensive form of plastic. It is weighty, and this is made in the UK, specifically in England. So they are so I'm glad they're promoting manufacturing here in the UK. So this one also has had good reviews online, and it's been closely compared to the Fenty gloss sticks. I would say it is, because I have a number of them. It has a sweet candied sort of scent, and it's got sparkles, so it's the glitter bombs. It's a dupe of the glitter bombs that came out in the last couple of months, and I'll do another swatch. And I'm really interested in giving this one a try. There it is, absolutely stunning, and it's had really good reviews by people who have worn it and whose opinions I trust. And then the final item that I'd seen last year on a YouTuber from Australia, and there had been a new item launched from Bobbi Brown that was sold in certain parts of Asia, notably in Malaysia and Singapore, and also Australia. It never came to America, USA that I'm aware of. It certainly didn't come to the UK, other than I did see it a number of months ago at the cosmetics company, which is the Estée Lauder clearance stores. Now, they're dotted in the UK. There aren't many. There's only about 5 or 6, so there's none near me. But I did see it on a trip to Chester. I did manage to go by Cheshire Oaks, and I saw it, and it was £45, and that's supposed to be discounted. So I thought, well, that's a lot of money. And then they had on store a promotion that whatever the price was in store, there was an extra 20% off. I still thought that was a bit pricey, and I didn't end up picking it up, and I did regret it. So I've only recently looked again and found it on eBay. Now, I know there's a lot of dupes, but I don't think this is a dupe, because it really wasn't something that only had a very limited launch, and it wasn't something that was particularly wanted or lauded, because it's a colour corrector. So here it is. I paid £28 in total for it, so I'm very pleased. And it has writing which might be either Korean or Malaysian or Singaporean, and it doesn't tell you in English what it is at all. There is some English writing on it, but basically on the box it has Fair to Light 1. So they only had 2 colours, Fair to Light 1 and Fair to Light 2, and obviously it was for the Southern Asian market. So the I do like the packaging. It's nice and weighty, and what I do like about it is, I'm hoping though it's similar to the correctors in the pots, which you get under 2 grams, and I think they're about £28. Now here you get more. You get 2 full gram in each pan, so there's 6 grams in here, and a little brush. So here it is. Now, unfortunately, the light that I've got a ring light, is going to wash this out, but it is quite a strong peachy orange tones. So these are very good as correctors. Now I think 2 of them are correctors, and the light one is supposed to be a concealer, but it doesn't matter. If I'm hoping they all are as buttery or as emollient, shall I say, as the pots, because they are my favourite colour corrector. So there's a little brush. I'm not sure how good that will be with Bobbi Brown on. I love it, and well, I love the component. So when I finish the Charlotte Tilbury one, which is in my project pan, I will start using this, and if I like it, I will try and get another. If not, I'll finish it up and then go on to their pots. Except it's been a while since I've had one of the pots, and as my eyes are aging out and getting more wrinkled and dry, it may well be that I can't get something that's ideal. But what you can do is mix them with skincare to some degree to make them more emollient, if you will. So that is my last purchase. So pleased about that. So although there is a lot, some months I buy quite a bit and others not a lot, but I don't have much on my radar at the moment. So anyway, let me know your thoughts down below. Have you tried any of these? Are you interested? And yeah, leave your thoughts down below in the comments. Otherwise, can I say thank you very much for watching, as I do appreciate that your time is valuable. So thank you for spending some of your precious time with me. Otherwise, I hope I will see you very soon. Otherwise, please take care of yourselves, and bye for now.